Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to the Ed Sales Edge. And I was just talking to my friend, our producer, Alvin, and we have decided to call this show, I think I'm allowed to say this, Alvin, but if you have to bleep me out, do it. We've decided to call this show the Fuck It Show. And believe me, it's not the FU show. We love you. We love you, our audience, our community members, which is growing day by day by day by day, which I'll talk about. By the way, if you want to be a part of our community, there it is right there. The entourage. This is tough. The entourage. Join the entourage. Oh, yeah. And by the way, yeah, that's my kitchen. That's my kitchen in our apartment. It's a time of transition for us in many ways. I used to do the show from our apartment here in Northwest DC on the 4th floor. And as everybody knows, and all my friends know, and everybody thinks it's hilarious, so do I, that was apartment 420. Okay. Now we are in apartment 616. My beautiful, wonderful, strong wife, while I was at a mastermind in Cabo, Mexico, helped us move. And we are now in an apartment that overlooks Washington, D.C. It is a view that I never thought I would have. I feel so lucky to be able to see this view of Washington, my hometown. And we have a little bit more space, but I'm still trying to figure out with Alvin, with Kim, with our team, how we position my camera. And so for now, it's positioned this way because we are moving from how we broadcast this show, which is using Restream. We're going to start using another platform, Riverside, which we record our shows. We're going to start using Riverside for that. So I just said, forget about it. Not in such a New York way. Actually, I just got done with a wonderful conversation with Gordon Smith. Gordon is from Arlington, Virginia, but he's up in New York, so he would understand when I said, forget about it. It's a fugazi. I didn't feel like flipping my camera, and this is the way we're doing it. Today's show is a little bit of a mishmash. It's a solo show, which I haven't done in a while. So that's cool. It's a little bit of a mishmash. We're going to talk about our community. We're going to talk about some of the wins in our community. We're going to talk about our programming notes. But first, what we're going to talk about is clarity. If you guys have been listening to this show or coming to our lives, you know that we've been talking about the Raise Your Hand campaign. And the Raise Your Hand campaign is our way of working with our clients to give them the tools they need to go ask the right questions, to build the product, the solution that their perfect client actually wants. Not just what they think they want, but building what they actually hear from people. We use that when it comes to building. We also use it when it comes to our messaging, our LinkedIn profiles, our posts that we do, how we maybe write a masterclass or write a show or do a webinar. So Raise Your Hand is a really well-structured framework for listening to people. John Gamba from who's the entrepreneur in residence at Penn's Graduate School of Education, one of my best buddies, has helped me refine that framework. We also practice what we preach here. And we've been doing our own Raise Your Hand campaign. And we've been listening to people after our masterclass, which was last Tuesday, not this past Tuesday, the last Tuesday. And what were their questions coming out of the masterclass about the Ed Sales Elevation experience? And so we basically gathered all of those questions up and we did a show on it. And now we're doing another show on it. If you are in the audience and would like to let us know where you are, who you are, and what your company is, please do. Many of the people I work with are in the education space. So if you tell people your platform, your solution, your tutoring company, your after-school enrichment business, people might know, people might want to connect. That's all good. We are streaming across LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Substack. And it never ceases to amaze me that when I was on TV in Harrisonburg, Virginia, if we wanted to kind of go live, we would run a long cord from the studio to outside. And now from our apartment 616 here at the Hepburn in Northwest DC, we're going live across 5 channels. My producer is sitting in Nigeria. Unreal, really unreal. So here's the pattern we keep seeing. People aren't stuck because they're not working hard. Our people are working their tails off. They're stuck because they're misreading what's happening. They think people are responding, so it's working. I'm active, so I have a system. I have a network, so I'm fine. But underneath that, there's no clarity, there's no structure, and there's definitely no engine to bring in high quality, high converting leads on repeat. So let's talk about some of the questions that we get from those folks who have this feeling that everything's okay, but then eventually everything just slows down. The first block is, I already have a network. Do I need the Ed Sales Elevation experience? Yes, because a network can actually mask a problem. Believe it or not, a network can actually mask a problem. If growth comes from relationships, it's not a bad place to start. You don't know if your positioning works because most people are nice and they're going to say, that's great, I'm into it. And the question is, are they going to buy? Over time, referrals slow, growth becomes inconsistent, and you realize there's no system. You have no system outside of referrals and relationships to bring in more high quality, high converting leads. People ask us, what if I'm still figuring out my offer? Well, great. You're like Grace. Grace, who came to our program, didn't have an offer. She didn't even have an LLC, in fact. And we got her an LLC, we got her an EIN, and we got her an offer. Most founders are still figuring out their offer. That's great. But then they try to build pipeline before clarity. That's not great. And so when you're trying to build pipeline without clarity, you are going to over-explain. You are going to customize everything. You're going to sound different every single time. And when you work through our program, we help you develop a signature solution, an offer. One transformation. And I don't know, Alvin, if it's the fact that it's Easter and Passover, or if it's the fact that I'm standing now at my standing desk. I haven't been at a standing desk in about 10 months since we left Mexico. But I really felt like I was preaching from the pulpit today about the signature solution and my Lord and Savior, Steve Jobs, who was all about clarity and transformation. And one of his greatest inventions, the iPod, 1,000 songs in your pocket. Man, that's brilliant. Music was so chaotic back then. Napster, MP3 players from Radio Shack. I had one. Thank you, Mark Viso, for grabbing me one. Hope you paid for it. And Steve Jobs came out and said 1,000 songs in your pocket. Do you want that? That's it. That was the transformation. People didn't wonder how many gigahertz or megahertz or whatever that crap is. He came out with the iPod, which was beautiful to look at. The sound was great, and you had 1,000 songs in your pocket. How much money can I give you for that? People come to us at the Ed Sales Elevation Experience and they tell us, my outreach, it's not working. People, though, they'll respond and they'll engage a little bit and they'll say, this looks great. But when I say outreach isn't working, I mean that people aren't raising their hand saying, I need to learn more and I need what you're offering. I need your 1,000 songs in my pocket. What you're dealing with, according to Alvin, who wrote this, is latent readiness. Translation, they're not ready. And your job is not to force it. Your job is to stay present until it activates. How do we do that? Good posts in LinkedIn, showing up at ASU GSV if you're going, being at South by Southwest EDU, coming to this LinkedIn Live. I got to start calling it the Ed Sales Edge Live, or joining us in the entourage in 17 minutes. When we move over to there, we do the after party in the entourage. Again, don't, like, if you're my friends and you know me, and it's a very different after party than anything I have ever been to, but I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. Have some fun. Alvin's not going to be there though, right? You're not going? Oh, you are going? I thought you had to go to church. He's got church. Why do you need church when you got me? And I'm preaching to you, brother. Listen, another problem that people in the Ed Sales Elevation Experience come to us with, and they say, I've got activity. I don't think I need 3E. And I say, well, by the way, activity is not a system. Don't confuse turbulence for traction. If your messaging isn't anchored in your perfect client, your clear transformation, and a clear tension, you're just creating noise. You're just creating noise for people. So the beautiful thing, and this is one of the most beautiful things, is that people who have followed the Ed Sales Elevation Experience and really done the hard work, and I mean it's really hard work. In fact, today I was working with our 13th cohort, and I just really took some time to congratulate them on doing hard work. Also acknowledging the fact that I'm about to enter a new realm of coaching. And coaching is tough. Coaching is uncomfortable. I got coached yesterday. We were doing some role playing, and I tapped out. Mason Church, who's just a phenomenal coach and person, who's a part of the group of my coach, Andrew Cruzy, the 7-figure CEO, he made it uncomfortable for me. And that's where the growth happens. You start to think differently, you start to speak differently. And so today I was talking to the cohort who's just really getting it. We're doing this tough work around the signature solution. Really tough work. It's so interesting, Alan. I don't know if you've noticed this, but even for you, man, you know, people leave their cameras on when they feel more confident, when they have more clarity in what they're doing. And we're seeing the cameras on for the people who are there, who have the most to say, who are really putting that work in. And for the people who are in our current cohort who haven't done the signature solution just yet, that's cool. Trust me. Totally cool. The course will meet you when you are ready. The course works. The course works. And by the way, we've added in Coach Ed, thanks to Alvin and Andrew. And he works really well. We are able to watch the usage of Coach Ed, which is the AI thought leader that Alvin has created with Andrew based on 2,600 hours worth of coaching that we've done, based on all of our conversations and our course and our LinkedIn Lives and our show. And there's one person who's kind of struggling a little bit with Coach Ed, but that's cool. We'll get them on track. But everybody else is using Coach Ed and flying high. I could not be more proud of our team and Coach Ed, although he's not really a person, but I think of him as a person. I want to talk about some people who I'm also very proud of. People who are doing the work. Elke Wong, who's in our current cohort tomorrow, today, she secured a school, her first, in South Carolina. And she met them at FETC. I was there as well. I was lucky enough to sit down with her. We had a great strategy session, and she prepared for this next meeting with them. And Elke is going to be this particular school district's 1,000 songs in their pocket, because she is providing them with a transformation. Dr. Pamela Ellis. You know, Alvin, if we did, I think Dr. Ellis might be listening. If we had an award for the coolest hair, John Gambo would win it for the men, and Pamela would win it for the women. And with that cool hair comes one cool cat in Pamela. She is working super hard, and we know it because we're seeing her work with Coach Ed, and she's working on her signature solution right now. Her offer is getting better and better and better by the minute, as is her confidence, as is her clarity, and she has been in the business for a few years. And so I'm happy to help people who are new to the space, have been there for a while. There's something, though, about helping people who have been in the space for a while and are ready to shake things up. And she is shaking things up. Another person who shakes things up is Julia Taus. Julia is in our mastermind group. And Julia, I'm not sure if she is up there when it comes to people who want to be coached. Bless you, Alvin. not from a church standpoint, but I saw you sneezed. She wants to be coached. Julia wants to be coached hard. And I do that. And sometimes I have to pick her up off the mat. But I will do that too. Yesterday we were talking, and Julia's got this really great opportunity to speak, and I'm so happy for her. And she sent me a message, and she said, look at this traction. And I said, hold on. That's great, and I am so happy for you, but that's not traction. That's credibility. Let's not confuse credibility for traction. Now, traction comes from credibility, but let's not confuse the two, Julia. Then there's my friends at Chess for Life. It's so crazy. I've known Elliot Neff, the founder of Chess for Life, for, I don't know, probably could look back in the Flex Academy's way back machine, but I've known him for at least 10 years. Elliot is the one who taught me fail, first attempt in learning. And Elliot has this phenomenal team of Paul and Jill, and they just won an award out in Seattle. 10,000 companies applied for this award, and they were one of 5 to get it. And I don't know the other winners, but I know that Paul and Jill and Elliot, he couldn't be better people, couldn't be better teachers and business owners. Chess for Life is a phenomenal group. So much so that I have started watching the Queen's Gambit because I want to learn a little bit about chess. Those are just some of the people I wanted to talk about who have done the hard work after coming in with questions, and they're seeing the fruits of their labor. They're seeing what happens when you make yourself uncomfortable. You grow, and so does the business. I'm going through it myself. So is Alvin on my team. So is Kim on my team. So is Ken on my team. We're growing right now. We're in a time of growth. What does that mean for you guys? You're going to see some changes coming. Yeah. We're going to shake things up too. We're going to be broadcasting from a different platform next Wednesday. Right, Alvin? Yeah, I can see. Yep. Okay. Trying to get my dates right. But that won't affect you too much. And we're going to go down to 2 LinkedIn lives like this a week. We're going to send less emails. We're going to send less newsletters. We're going to have less social media posts. We think we overdid a little bit. My body is telling me we overdid a little bit. That's for damn sure. Over the weekend, after having traveled basically the month of March and not sleeping because we were growing different parts of the business, I slept for 29 hours. At some point, I'll show the picture to everybody that my family took. My family has an album of me sleeping because I'm a prolific sleeper. But I didn't really sleep in March, and then I slept for 29 hours over the weekend. Now, if you want to be part of what we do, and I hope you do, if you want to get to mix and mingle with Alvin and Kim and Ken and Elke and Pamela and Julia and Elliot and Paul and Jill and John Gamba, and I would bet Gordon, who I just talked to, do it. Join us in the entourage. The QR code is right there. This would be like if I was doing the weather. I never really practiced when I was in the TV studio. And like, there's the weather front coming through. I never really tried that. It would be tough. Well, but anyways, you learn. Join us in the entourage. I can see the QR code has been snapped. That's fantastic. We'll add you in. We're growing by the day. Let me give you some up-to-date numbers. Let me do this here. Gordon Smith, great, entering in. 218 members of the entourage. Awesome. And we started with 0. And we had 0 for a while until we made a change. And we switched to school. And now in 5 weeks, we're at 218. Because we made a change, because we faced the facts as a company that people weren't joining the entourage. And we knew, obviously, community works. We had a decent marketing campaign. We had our team. So we think it really was the platform, and we're proving that day by day. And then we're going to go over there in 3 minutes and continue the party. So hopefully you're willing to make change too. You got to really ask yourself, what are the beliefs that I hold about my education business that I need to break so that I can go from coping to thriving? You have beliefs that are keeping you from going to the place you want to go with your business. And all you're doing, sadly, for now, is coping. Luckily, we have a path through the Ed Sales Elevation Experience, and we have an environment of wonderful people. I will name them again, just some of them. Elke, Pamela, Julia, Elliot, Jill, Paul, Alvin, Ken, our newest member, Gordon. So if you're looking for a path, we got it. If you're looking for an environment, we got it. But you have to ask yourself the question, and I had to ask myself this question last night about some coaching I'm going to do. Are you up for it? Because it's going to be uncomfortable. I'm up for it. I hope you're up for it. If you have questions, I'm very easy to find on LinkedIn, very easy to find on email. And we're going to have a new programming schedule, but you'll find us here next Wednesday with the great John Gamba. By the way, it's going to be Wednesdays at 11 o'clock Eastern, a little bit earlier. But we'll have a great show nonetheless, and we're going to talk more about the signature solution, the value of a clear offer. What is your 1,000 songs in your pocket? What is the transformation that you offer to a school or a school district or a university that transforms their life? That's what we figure out. I'm not sure if this show transformed your life, but hopefully it made it a little bit better. Hopefully you enjoyed yourself. I appreciate everybody who joined, whether you are on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Substack, all good. Thank you. And we will see you in the after party.